It's time for Everything Noob, your source for all things gaming.
Welcome to another installment of the Everything Noob podcast. I am Vortek, joined this evening by Dreadlow and special guest once again, Darknewt. How's it going, fellas?
What's up?
Jemmy's on vacation. She's left us.
No.
She's with us in spirit.
Yes.
Oh, dang it.
It's the men's show tonight.
Yes.
Men's show.
Someone made a big mistake.
We'll be belching and farting. It's all here today.
It's all going downhill from here.
Yes. So, how's it going? There's a whole bunch of stuff that happened in gaming news. As usual, right after we do a show, a whole bunch of gaming news breaks, like on Tuesday, the day after we do the show.
Maybe this should be a Tuesday show from now on.
Maybe.
Yeah,
but
Tuesday.
I guess we'll start with something more recent Darknewt just told us about and go from there. This is kind of cool, and I guess also a little bit surprising. I haven't played Xbox. I don't know about you guys, but I've been PC gaming for months now. I haven't turned on my Xbox. Okay, so I'm not alone. Xbox Gold for Xbox Live, which is like their yearly subscription, is no longer required to watch Netflix and Hulu.
See, that's a big selling point for me, like, surprisingly. Because I've always hated how I do have an Xbox 360. I just don't use it. Mm-hmm. And I can't ever use it as a Netflix machine because I don't have Gold. And I'm not going to pay an Xbox subscription on top of a Netflix subscription just to watch it. So if that's true, though, I might actually use my Xbox for once.
I don't use it, and I've already been paying for Gold. And just, I have the whole year covered, so I just let it ride because it's $50 a year or $60 a year, and you don't even think about it. It's one of those things that auto bills me, and then I don't think about it at all.
Well, here's the thing. And Xbox One is supposed to be this multi-entertainment system. Mm-hmm. Now, you can go to like even Walgreens and buy this little box. It's a little tiny box. And it has all the like apps or whatever you want to call it. Like it's got Netflix on it, it's got Hulu, it's got all those things. And you just plug it into your TV and it hooks to your internet through Wi-Fi and bam, you got it all for free. Except for, obviously you need to pay the subscription for Netflix or Hulu. So Xbox would be like dumb if they didn't do this. You know what I mean? It's like, why would you want to pay for a subscription with Xbox Live just so you can have Netflix and Hulu when you can just, like I said, go down and get one of those boxes?
Well, yeah, not only that, it's an interesting point because how do you create a console that boasts it's going to strive to bring you not only gaming content but television and stuff like that, and then you neglect to make that free, sort of, in a sense? I mean, you're already paying for Netflix and stuff, but yeah, like Darknewt said, you don't want to pay 2 subscription fees. What if you don't use Xbox Live and you literally bought an Xbox because you wanted to have those things that it promised other than gaming? I'm sure there's people who've done it. And maybe they play some single-player gaming and they don't really need the online experience. There's plenty of people out there like that. So I still feel like it's kind of dumb because they've already gotten probably a whole year's worth of money out of people. So this isn't even going to affect anyone until next year.
Well, here's the thing. I've been seeing this over and over again. Xbox or Microsoft themselves are backpedaling over and over again, trying to gain back, the lead here. Looks like it's the PlayStation Xbox war, and it's crazy because they just keep backpedaling on stuff. They keep changing things up to try to get some more people to buy their product, and they should have done all this, at the start.
What's funny is we had all this drama before these systems came out about how gaming was going to be limited. Like you couldn't share your games with people. If you bought a physical copy, they weren't going to let you actually share it. And they're trying to force us into digital downloads, and they want to get all their money for games. They don't want you to trade games with each other. None of them do, but then again, it keeps places like GameStop in business. But when you really think about it, we're moving in the direction of no more CDs anyway. Eventually, we're all going to be digital.
It's all going to be digital eventually. I mean, look at Steam. I mean, seriously, I haven't bought a physical copy of a game in a few years. because I've got fast internet speed, fast enough to download something. If it's 20 gigabytes or something like that, then it would be like an overnight download, and even then, it's only a few hours. But I mean,
See,
digital download is what it's all about, and I can share my games with my family if I wanted to, or I can even share it with my friends if they have my login for Steam. They can download it and install it on their computer. The only thing is that you can only install it, my computer crashed on me. It finally exploded. I've been trying and trying and trying to save for a computer, and it just isn't happening. So I got this new one here. It's something I got from a rent-a-center, but that's another story altogether. I don't even want to go into that.
Don't even get me started on that.
No.
Oh no.
Anyway, so in order for me, all my games were lost, all that stuff. So I was fortunate enough to have Steam, and I logged into Steam. I saw the games I wanted to install. Boom, installed them, and they installed. It didn't say you have this installed on another machine. It didn't say you already have this installed or whatever. Now, it was only one login. So, in other words, my brother-in-law or whoever can't be logged in to my account while I'm logged into it. It won't work.
But
work
that's
that way.
just like if you're using your Xbox and you're sharing it with your family members, they can't use it while you're using it unless you play a multiplayer game.
Exactly. It's the same thing.
So it's all the same. I mean, and what I was saying is like there's no reason to rush us into not being able to trade games, because inevitably that's going to be a thing in the future. And we're not even we're not going to think twice about it. We're going to think this is awesome. I can download my games digitally. I don't have to leave my house. Fantastic. And no one's going to think, oh man, but I can't trade my games anymore until it's too late, until GameStop is gone and all the game stores are gone.
And Steam has got the right thing here. I mean, seriously, you can't really steal these games. I mean, it's downloaded onto your computer. You've got the game on your computer. It's installed, and as far as sharing and stuff like that, the way you share is by sharing your account if you wanted to. And I think that Steam even has a multiple account thing. Where you can have
family share.
Family sharing and stuff. So I mean, that's awesome. That's the way you do it right there. So they've kind of nailed the digital download, protection or whatever. So you can't thwart the system and try to steal content.
See, like if it was me, because I understand, like, yeah, we are definitely going towards like a just completely digital age. I only find myself buying physical copies if like I really want the box, and even then, sometimes I'll still download it and won't even use the disc. My PC doesn't even have a disc drive actually, but like if it was
you buy it for the code, you buy it for the key.
Yeah, and I just keep the disc on my shelf. But if it was me, like if they really wanted to stop the sharing and they were going to go to a digital age, they should make it to where like maybe like up to like make 5 people a month or like 3 people a month, you can share it with other Xbox Live accounts or something. Like, if I know, Dan's his Xbox account on my friends, like say, I'm gonna share this game for you for 30 days or however many days, and you can only do that so many times. So you're not just giving away to like all your subscribers on YouTube or anything or something if they're gonna do that. Because I think game sharing's always been a thing. I played console growing up, and I used to borrow my friends' games, and I'd give him mine, and we'd meet back up next week and talk about it. And I don't think killing that's a good idea. That's a childhood ruiner.
Yeah, I used to share games with my friends, and it was really easy back in the cartridge days. And it was cool. We didn't think that... No one thought, oh, we're stealing business from these other companies. A lot of times, I would borrow a game from a friend, like, let's say Mario Kart. I didn't have it yet, and I borrow it from a friend.
And Mario Kart.
I'd get Mario Kart on the N64 to myself for a day before my friend was knocking on my door, like, can I have it back? Can I have it back? Because... as a kid, like, if it's your favorite game you're lending out, you don't lend it out for very long. And then the other kid is like, well, I really like that game. And they're like, hey, Mom, Dad, can we get this game? And you're really, it's still a way of promoting sales in that sense. So the fact that they were ever against sharing games was something stupid in the first place. I mean, it's irrelevant now. They went back. They've backpedaled. But I think the real scary thing right now is all the stuff we're starting to see with the digital, because... digital is cool, but we're going to start seeing some monopolies very, very soon. And it's kind of scary because I think the story that popped up recently, it's two of my least favorite companies are rumored to be merging, and I think you guys will be on my level with this. EA Games, there's a rumor that EA Games may be merging with Comcast to bring cable subscribers a way to basically stream games, just like they stream their TV shows. So you part of your subscription would be the ability to get games on your, I guess, your cable box, or maybe you'd have to buy another thing, or it would be bundled with your cable subscription somehow. And it's an effort to, this article is trying to say they're trying to get rid of all GameStops, but GameStop is doomed no matter what. They don't need to declare war. But we'll link the article. You'll see what I'm talking about. What do you guys think of that?
Well, I think we've talked about OnLive.com.
Mm-hmm.
And OnLive.com basically, like you have a computer that just can't handle the games. You don't have a graphics card or whatever. But you have great internet, and you can stream. So you can go on OnLive.com and select a whole bunch of games. You can play like $9.99 a month or whatever for it, and you can get all these games. This selections of games that you can play, and there's no download, because all you're doing is you're playing the game. You're streaming it from their servers. So it's at ultra quality, and you get to play it on your, using your computer. And I've already done it, and there's no, you would think there would be lag. Like, as soon as I press the W key or something, it would take a little while for the screen to catch up or whatever. It doesn't do that at all. So I'm thinking that this whole Comcast EA thing is probably going to be kind of the same idea, where you're using your cable system to get these games, and the cable box itself will have somewhere where you can plug in a controller.
Yeah, possibly.
I don't know. That would be incredible in a way. However, Steam already does that, kind of. They do that with the their new Steam OS and their Steam boxes.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, we're already there, but it's EA trying to get themselves in bed with Comcast and try to offer some kind of gaming juggernaut thing where you already have a cable subscription and maybe you can't afford a game console. Well, now you can get your EA games here.
Well, yeah, and it kind of sucks because it's only EA. It's not like, you'll have the selection of, on Steam, you have the selection of games from anywhere. But with EA, you're only dealing with EA games. So there's not a whole
servers will be
selection.
down the whole time. You'll never be able to get on.
Yeah.
Yeah, EA thinks that they have a selection as great as Steam, which is kind of funny to me. Origin, they force Origin on you no matter what EA game you get, and they try to compete with Steam, but they only really allow for EA games most of the time. I mean, I'm not sure. I don't use Origin enough to really. I don't browse the Origin store or anything.
It's not great.
Does it go past EA games though? Do they have other No, so it's literally just EA across the board.
I'm pretty certain. At least it was. I mean, I haven't used it in a good couple months, but it was strictly EA stuff.
Probably EA and EA affiliates.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of sub companies that work under the EA umbrella.
Well, it's almost everyone now.
They got their
bought
little
everything.
They got their little what they call their indie companies that work with EA.
Yeah, indie companies.
Yeah.
I just feel like in their attempt to kill the end piracy and to end trading and stuff like that, they're doing worse for themselves. Because console gaming and game sales in general were doing great 10 years ago, and when they started changing everything, people were stopped buying. A lot of people switched to PC, and they just kind of put themselves in a hole that I feel like if they just went back to the basics, just did it how they used to do, they would do a lot better. Because EA is kind of killing themselves, doing all these dumb ideas to try to make more money, and it's just they're ruining their own company. Almost everyone hates EA. EA is one of the biggest. You say EA around any gamer, and they want to throw up. So
they've won several times, one of the worst company of the year award, the Golden Poo. We've talked about that last time they won it. They didn't win it this year, but they always come close. They're always in the top of the list of people who are going to win this award. And People celebrate them winning it just because they deserve to be recognized as such an awful, awful company. And for every way, I mean, we don't know how they treat their employees, but we do know how they treat their customers, and it's not well.
Yeah, and one thing I want to say, since we're bashing EA, it's not like one thing a lot of people don't understand is EA isn't a game development company. They're just publishers, and the reason why most EA games sucks is because, like, for example, like Battlefield, it's created by DICE. DICE themselves is a great company, but they have EA on top of them hounding them, saying, you got to release this quicker. I want it by this Christmas so you can start on your next game for next Christmas. And that's why every EA comes out with bugs and server issues. It's because EA, they're not gamers. EA is not made up of gamers.
No,
it's made up of
they're
businessmen.
people who want money. It's numbers. That's all it is for them.
They don't even know what they're releasing.
Yeah, it's just like the recording artists, recording, for music, the big, companies there, like Capitol and RCA and all those, right? And then, it's the same thing with publishing a book. I mean, all these different big companies, these publishers and stuff, what they do is that's what they want the money. That's all they're after. And so they push the developers to do what they need to do in a certain time so they can get their product out without thinking about quality or anything.
Yeah,
so
quantity over quality all the time with these businesses. And
so that's why indie music, indie book writing, all those things are always going to be awesome. So
see, there's this game coming out called The Witcher 3. While we're talking about publishers, I don't know.
Witcher 3.
Yeah, it's The Witcher 3. And I don't know who their publisher is or if they're self-published, but I know it's not EA, definitely. And they were supposed to release March this year. And then, last second they said, we're really sorry, guys, but we're going to push this back till February 2015 because we want to make the best game possible. And at first I was a little, aggravated. Of course, I'd been waiting for the game. But at least I know when that game comes out, there isn't going to be, bugs or issues like there would be with an EA forcefully published game. I mean, you look at like EA games and like Call of Duty games that they're forced to release every year because they know these kids are going to buy it, and they don't care about the quality because people are going to buy this crap anyways. So, I don't know.
No, you're absolutely right. And Battlefield 4 is a fantastic example of that because I had just got Battlefield 3, and it had been around for maybe a year, and I got it because of that huge SimCity fiasco, and they apologized by giving everyone a free game and out of these select games.
Yeah.
And the only one that was on the list that I wanted that I didn't already have or cared to play was Battlefield 3. Thinking, yeah, I'll play that, so I downloaded it. I never really got to play it, though. And then before I knew it, Battlefield 4 was announced. And then before I knew it, it was out. Like, the announcement and the date it came out was, like, really close together. And I didn't play Battlefield 3, so for me, Battlefield 4 was pretty cool. I actually got it, and I played it, and it was pretty cool. But come to find out that the people who have been fans of Battlefield for a while are livid because not only do the servers just suck all around, but because I didn't really have too many big problems with the servers. I didn't play enough to have problems. I played a few times with some friends, and then other games came out, and I moved on. But anyway, point is, people are pissed because Battlefield 4 and 3 are basically the same game. And in terms of Modern Warfare 2, of Call of Duty 2, and Modern Warfare 2 and 3, same game for me. I had that same exact feeling. So I understand that. Like, these publishers just push out these games just to get them. We got to release the same thing every year. The sports games I understand, but I always made fun of people who buy them every year because all it really adds is like the new team layouts for all the sports. Whatever sport you buy, like, okay, this person's on this team now when we had to make a new game. No, you didn't. You could have just patched it in, but you're not going to do that because people are dumb and they're going to pay the $60 every year to play Madden, whatever.
I mean, wasn't a game actually developed and made to make fun of that whole system of the downloadable content and stuff?
DLC Quest is what you're talking about. If you're looking
that
for
was
a laugh,
EA's big thing. That was back, about a year ago or whatever. That's what they kept doing, is just throwing out DLCs for stuff that should have already been in the game.
Yeah.
See, the sad thing is though, is I don't ever see us stopping this because, like, you're not going to get enough people to boycott them. You're not going to get enough people to stop buying because regardless, even if it is crap, we're going to buy it. You know, if I really like a game series, you know, I bought Battlefield 4. I said I wouldn't. I played the beta. It's like, this is exactly the same as Battlefield 3. And Battlefield 3 wasn't a whole lot different than Bad Company 2, but it was close enough to make me buy it. But I bought it anyways. That's what people do with Call of Duty. They can release trash. Hell, they could probably get away with releasing the exact same game and just changing the maps, which they're kind of doing anyways, and people are going to buy the crap.
Well, before we get away from that, real quick, I wanted to say, like earlier I said, people are idiots, and they buy them anyway. I just want to, like, preference that by saying, I've done it too. Darknewt just said he did it, and it's because all your friends are doing it. Everyone's doing it. So you kind of have to if you want to keep playing with your friends. I meant to say that, and I didn't. I don't want people to be like, I'm not an idiot.
Well, here's also the thing.
I understand. Trust me, I'm on the same page.
I've got games here that I didn't even know were EA. You know, so I mean, there's those games that, you know, come out with, like I said, the EA umbrella, but are, you know, so I've done it too, you know, without realizing. I've got Sims, you know, I mean, Sims 3, you know.
We're already looking at Sims 4, and, you know, it's funny because Sims 3 came out a while ago now. We're not looking at a one year apart for the Sims games, but it starts to feel that way after a while. And then you get the new Sims game, and you're like, how is this any different from the last one?
Yeah, it's just got some extra stuff, and they're really good at downloadable content for that.
If you put Sims 1 and 3 side by side, you'll notice a huge difference. But if you put Sims 2 and 3 side by side, not much difference.
No, not really.
See, my girlfriend's been a big Sims player. She's played 1, 2. You know, she played those. That's all she played growing up. And she told me the biggest difference between, like, 2 and 3 is when 2 came out, it was the equivalent of the content with like 3 plus like 3 DLCs, because I guess they interviewed some people later because Maxis wasn't over it anymore, and they released 3 in a hurry, and then they quickly just released some DLCs to make up for the content loss. Because when Sim 3 came out, there was nothing you could do pretty much until they added, you know, generations and stuff like that, which a lot of those features were in Sims 2 base. But, you know, EA, you know, with the Sims, they could just sell. There's like, I don't know how many expansions and stuff packs there are. Like, there's got to be at least 10 now. Like, it's getting to be, like, I wanted to buy her all the Sims 3 games, and I went to the store and I looked, I added them all up, and I'm like, I don't have $300. Like, there's no way I could do this. But, you know, people buy it, and it's probably one of their biggest moneymakers, you know.
But you can't play them all at the same time. That's the thing that I don't like. Like, if you got the pets, and then you've got generations, you can't play them together.
Well, you can on The Sims 3. You just couldn't on the pets and whatever it was for 2. On 3, they're all merged together.
They are?
Yeah.
Oh.
3, they kind of meld. 3's real good about that. All the content's kind of in the same game, which is good.
Because it always, when I start pets, it's a completely new game.
No, it shouldn't be.
Weird.
That's weird. That shouldn't happen. Yours is broken.
You broke your game.
I got a couple expansions for The Sims 3, and I got a Walmart bundle on them, so it was like $15 for 2 expansions, which was kind of, you know, it was a pretty good deal. So I got it. But one of the expansions I think is Generations. It's one that should have been in the core game. There's a big difference between having the Pets expansion, which I still think should be in the core game, but having the Pets expansion versus having like a Generations expansion, like of a bunch of little tiny features in one DLC versus one big thing like pets. You can have pets. There's pet stores. There's this. There's that. And then there's a whole bunch of little tiny things in the other one, like, oh, well, your Sims grow up in this way, and they can maybe go to college if you want them to.
And you can push a kid in a stroller now, because before you couldn't. It's like,
yeah, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They really, I think you're right. They rushed Sims 3 out, and it did come out kind of fast now that I think about it. And it is better in some ways than 2, but not enough to justify a full-blown game. And another thing they do, you were just saying you wanted to buy all of the DLCs. They'll do that at the very end of the game's life. When you see that massive DLC pack come out, you know we're right around the corner from Sims 4. So either you can buy that and just kind of accept the fact that Sims 4 isn't going to be that much different than 3, just based on experience, or you could wait and buy Sims 4 and start all over again buying the same. We're buying the same DLCs. Here's, in my mind...
Yeah. It'll be Sims 4 Generations. It'll have a slightly different name. Like, it'll be Sims 4 Growing Up or something stupid.
You know, what's really
Sims
funny?
4, same crap.
When Sims
Yeah.
1 was out, everyone was like, "Oh, I wish we could have pets. I wish we can go on dates. I wish we could do this and that." And there was like an expansion for all of those. And The Sims 1 turned out after you had every expansion, which how many were there? Like 10? After you had every expansion, it was like a really full-blown life simulation game. It was cool. So wouldn't you think that a nice company would take everything and put it in one in The Sims 2 and then add to it from there? But no, instead they took the greedy route.
They knock you back to the beginning.
Yeah, and then right back to the beginning. So all that stuff you just paid for is gone in the second game, but you're still supposed to buy it because it's better.
Yeah.
You're gonna play The Sims 4, and you'll be like, "Man, I really miss having pets." Well, next year I'll be able to have my pets. Or
Oh, thank
this
goodness.
fall,
Yeah.
and you're gonna pay for the. It's obviously everyone wants to make money. I mean, I guess I can't say I blame them because they're not gamers. If I was a businessman, I'd be looking to make dough.
Yeah.
But it's just.
That's
I miss when
overboard.
game companies were led by gamers, and that's why we always get back at the point of indie games are amazing because the people who make that game are there to make a good game, not to make. I mean, they're there to make money too, but not solely just to make money. They're trying to make a good game, and they don't have a publisher to feed their name and make you buy their garbage. It has to be a good game for people to buy it.
And how many indie games have given to charities? I mean, seriously. I mean, the Humble Bundle is all about Indiegogo. Well, no, not Indiegogo. What is it called?
Oh, a Kickstarter.
No,
Oh,
not the
Humble Bundle.
Kickstarter. I'm talking
You're
about
thinking of Humble
it's like
Bundle.
Humble Bundle, but it's indie something.
I don't
Well,
know.
Humble Bundle does like indie games a lot. They'll do different things.
Right.
Sometimes they do books.
There's another
sometimes
one,
they do
too,
big
that's-
titles. Well,
Yeah.
yeah, but I know what you mean. This spawns like a couple other like topics that are kind of close to me right now, which is annoying. There's like so much to talk about in terms of like greed. Did you guys see? This is a really small story, but have you ever heard of the game Towns? It's on Steam.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The-
The controversy there. Yeah.
Yeah, the developer just left and just said
So
sorry.
I didn't know about the controversy with that. What happened?
Okay. Well, here's the weird part. He says, but we're working on Towns too.
yeah,
What?
that-
You're not even finished with Towns.
I know it's so like stuff like that is why I get upset when we
Yeah.
have
I
a
don't-
Kickstarter.
I don't know what happened.
Okay, so
What?
Towns is a game.
Okay.
It's like a little think kind of like indie game Age of the Empires, but you build a town. You're not fighting another city, but you build a little town. It's like any sandbox game that's out right now, and especially indie sandbox games are getting really popular. So this game looked really cool, and a bunch of people greenlit it on Steam, and they backed it probably via Kickstarter. And
Yeah, there's a Kickstarter.
the person who's mainly behind it hasn't released an update in forever, and all of a sudden you start seeing the forums on Steam give them a bunch of thumbs down, like this guy abandoned the game, don't waste your money on it, it's underdeveloped, and it is. I really wanted it, and I get it, and I'm like, wow, this is really bad. We need better UI. This is just so
Pretty much,
clunky.
he got his money from everyone buying it, and then he just didn't
Yes.
care after that.
It-
He sold out. He just
Yes.
left.
And whatever his intentions, when you turn around and say, well, we are working on Towns too, but we're done with Towns. No, you're not done with Towns, and now you want more money? I
You
know
want
they're
people
going
to
to
actually
more.
buy Towns too after this.
Oh, I hope not.
It would have been like if with Minecraft, once it blew up and everyone bought it. If he would have been like, no, YOLO, I quit. But instead, he decided to build on that and build a bigger team and keep releasing updates. And he's got all the money. Notch has all the money he'll ever need, and his fucking grandkids. Well, sorry, his grandkids will ever need. And he still creates a game, and that's where the passion's at. EA does this crap because they're in negative. They're negative dollars. They're in debt. A lot of these big game companies, they're in debt, and they'll tell you that, and they're trying to make up for it.
I said this before. If Notch would have turned around and did the EA route thing, and all these updates that we get, all these add-ons like horses and stuff like that, he could have had
$2.
fun with downloadable content for that. Oh man, just think about it.
Yeah.
But he didn't.
He
He
didn't
didn't
go
go
the-
that
I
route.
just think
go the Greek
if
route.
EA wants to look at it as a marketing route, they should go ahead. They should just really look at it as turn it into a passion for gamers, not about making money. Go around and do things. I mean, you'll make more money on a game that people say, oh, there's updates every freaking week or every month, and you don't have to pay anything
Yeah.
for it. And
People
people are
will
like,
buy
oh, that's
more.
great.
They'll
You know, you'll make more money on that
people
than
buying
just,
it.
you know, making people buy DLCs all the time. And you'll have a better company and more supporters and more people. You know, your company won't be in the top hated companies, and you might actually make some money by being a
Yeah,
good person.
you take a game, the root game, and it's $60. Okay, and then you get downloadable content throughout the year at $19.99 a pop. Okay, whereas you could actually sell the game for say $30 and have free updates. Who's going to make more money? You know, you would think that the guy with the $60 $19.99 down the line, but no, it's the guy that spends the guy that offered his game at $30. He's selling more copies of the game, and he's giving free content to people. Yeah, I would
And every
say
time
that's the better
content
route to
comes
go.
out, it's like re-releasing your game too.
Yeah.
Like every time
You're right.
there's a big Minecraft
Yeah.
patch, people start like, "Oh my god, horses!" And people are like, "Maybe I should get into Minecraft," you know?
Yeah,
So
and then they
releasing
buy
those
it.
free updates is like a re-release. I mean, yeah, I'm sure DLCs may help your game sales a little bit too, but I don't think it's nowhere near as good as the free updates are.
I have to correct something about the towns thing here. They're saying in chat that the original developer isn't really involved in these decisions for towns. Well, I'll
that's
find
true.
the story about it, and people can look it up. Thank you guys for pointing that out in chat. I did forget that was mentioned.
He
So-
supposedly is only getting just a small. He agreed to a small portion. He didn't realize how big, how much money they're losing and how much money he was actually getting. It wasn't worth it to him.
Yeah.
That's what it was. And
Again,
Yeah.
it just even if their intentions are good, I still think you're screwing yourself. Just because people don't want towns 2, they want the game they already paid for to work.
yeah, and if they're going to do something like that, they should offer Towns 2 for free for everybody who did the Kickstarter and those who've already bought the game. Mm-hmm. That's
You're
all
absolutely
I'm trying
right. So
to say, you know.
they're saying, oh, they read it all wrong. Don't worry. I'm just saying the story isn't straight as we put it before. So there's going to be a link to the show notes so you guys can get the full story.
If you guys didn't know, we're kind of winging it.
Oh, okay. The latest dev isn't to blame. The original dev is. Okay.
Yes, the
Got it.
original guy.
All right. Well, again, if you want to get straightened out on it, we can't talk about it the whole show, but show notes, everythingnoob.com. Thank you guys for pointing that out. So, now I'm off track completely.
That is
I was gonna all this DLC and chat was gonna kind of get me into talking about the WildStar beta dropped. If you guys have seen it or heard about it, they did a 10-day open beta on this game called WildStar. It's a new MMO, and it's right there in competition with ESO and EverQuest Landmark / EverQuest Next, and it's a contender for the next big MMO, because we all kind of know World of Warcraft is starting to die down a little bit, and it's getting there. So WildStar releases this beta, and I tried it. I wasn't impressed.
Why weren't you
Yeah.
impressed? I haven't played it. I actually didn't know about it.
It was definitely World of Warcraft with a paint job, and that's how I felt going into it immediately, except more clunky. Like a worse World of Warcraft in space.
Oh no.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Sounds like fun. I think I'll download it.
I wrote up a full review, and it's going to be out tomorrow once I finish it on everythingnoob.com. You can see my in-depth review. But what I really wanted to touch on was the fact that they're charging the $60 for the game, and then you get the first 30 days free, and then you get to pay $15 a month, like all the other MMOs have been kind of.
That's
Yeah,
what World of
kinda
Warcraft
like
does. Yeah, you buy the game, and then you still have to pay the monthly fee.
Yes. Real quick, we just got raided in chat by Gamer Husband with Kids. If you're not familiar with watching us live on Twitch, we do the show live on Twitch. The link is in everythingnoob.com. And a raid is when another streamer ends their stream and has their viewers come over. And I just want to say a quick thank you and shout out to Gamer Husband with Kids. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Welcome to the new viewers. Welcome to Everything Noob.
Yeah. Hey, how you doing?
So, but yeah, I think what I wanted to talk about more or less, not my review about WildStar, but how do you guys feel about the format we're still using for MMOs in terms of paying? We've brought it up a couple times in the past, but I think it bears repeating. Because when Guild Wars 2 came out, you paid $60 and you got to play it for free after that. And they're supported by in-game like purchases, and they're doing way better than Guild Wars 1, who had to release a new expansion like every year or less, or every 6 months. Whereas Guild Wars 2 seems to be doing very well for itself.
I don't know. Like, I mean, Vortex, we've argued about this a lot. You know, me talk about this. I'm one of those people. Maybe it's because I played WoW for 6 or 7 years. You know, I wasted a lot of my life playing that game, and I don't mind the monthly subscription because the way I look at it is you get updates all the time. New content comes out, and it's kind of like your DLC fee. And I know I'm playing a game where there's not other people paying with virtual or real money for virtual items and getting ahead. So as long as I'm on the same level as everyone else, I don't personally mind paying $15 a month. You know, for most people, you know, that's not a whole lot. That's 50 cents a day. And, you know, it shouldn't be so bad. I don't think it's a big deal to pay $15 a month.
Well, there are games, believe it or not, that are so cool that they don't offer stuff that you buy that is going to make or break the game.
Yeah.
In other words, everybody's still on equal level, on equal planes with everybody else, with the exception of your potions that give you double XP.
Yeah.
That's actually not really going to mess anything up.
It doesn't ruin anyone else's experience. You just get there
Right.
faster.
You just get there faster, and sometimes it's helpful, especially if you got friends that are already level 10 or whatever, and you're level 5. It could really help you out. But like Runes of Magic is a big one. I don't know how they are now. I haven't played in a few years, but their whole in-game content that you can buy was house accessories, because you got your own house and you can put furniture in your house. You can get what they call transmutated armor, where you can have armor that you know, you got your regular armor that you get from in-game, and then you know, from kills and stuff like that, from loot, and then you can transmutate a set of armor that does nothing to the stats. All it is for looks, and you can create this look. You can also buy you know, mounts, special mounts. They all have the same speed. You can still get a mount in-game with gold, you know, with the same speed or whatever. You just, sometimes there might be some fancier ones, like you know, like a lion that's got flames coming out of him or something. And so those are the things that Runes of Magic would sell, and it didn't affect gameplay at all. And that's what I like about it. And another one that was like that was Guild Wars 2. Guild Wars 2 didn't have all this. You can't buy weapons or anything like that. All you can buy is like dyes and buy potions that help you, you know, get a certain level faster.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I agree with Darknewt in the fact that in the past, that was always a big problem. You go to a free-to-play game, and it's unfair.
Yeah.
You know, you got these people who are able to buy this stuff that just completely, you know, overwhelms you. You know, if it was a PvP environment, then you're really in trouble, because you know, you just got this simple little wooden bow, and he's got this fancy bow with fires coming out of it and stuff that he bought off of the store with money.
Well,
then it's different. Yeah.
Gamer Husband brought up a good point too. And I'm not saying I'm against the monthly pay thing. It's just, I'll get to that in a second. He said that he likes that because it keeps the kids and hackers away when you have to pay. You know, you're paying good money for that game. You don't want to risk getting banned. On one sense, I do agree with that logic, but on the other hand, I've seen games like...
Definitely.
This is because it's cheap, but RuneScape was my example because I've played it the longest. You have people paying that $8 a month, and the game that's all the game costs. You just play it. There's no additional, like, a startup fee or anything. So it's pretty accessible for hackers just because it's cheap, but the monthly fee doesn't necessarily stop the hackers, is my point. I would like to see a game...
World of Warcraft had them. They
Yes.
had bots that would go and do mining and stuff.
I'm sure they still do to some capacity.
Because a lot
Then
of
they'd
times those
sell-
hackers can make more money than what they're paying into the game.
They sell the
You know,
money.
you'll sell the gold your bot has earned and yada yada, and you'll make you know I don't know how many times more money than you paid for that month of playing the game. So I don't think it keeps the hackers away, but I do feel like it does keep, I don't want to say the casuals away, but I mean, I don't know. I just like usually the people I'm going to play with more
Yeah.
on it. Because if you get a free to play game, some kid who doesn't care about this game could jump on real quick and just kind of troll around. And the people who are playing a monthly subscription are more likely to be, okay, I'm serious about this. This is something I'm dedicated towards. But I'm not saying that should be the main selling point. But
Yeah.
I think it helps a little bit.
No, I do too. And again, for the casual people, that's my biggest complaint. I like MMOs, I do, but MMOs really don't tailor to casual folks like myself. I never got into raiding or PvP because that requires like a schedule, and I have a lot going on. A point I made in my review of WildStar is that for me, the game is about the journey, not the destination, because the destination means massive PvP and raids. I like getting up there. I like building my character over time. I like questing, and I like getting him up there. And any other game, like single player, like Skyrim, which is what I should be playing, it seems like, is going to have a story that's compelling and quests that are all fun to play and kind of original in their own sense. But you got games like World of Warcraft that at first are really fun and then they start to feel repetitive. And this is how WildStar threw me in. I got in there and I'm doing the same thing I did in WoW. Like, okay, I need you to go talk to this person. And then that person made me kill 10 things. And then this person made me collect 5 things. And I'm like, here we go again. Same thing. I'm tired of this formula.
Same exact thing.
That's my other problem. You want me to pay $15 a month, and you're going to throw me into the same formula that I'm already playing, or I could go play Guild Wars 2 with a different formula. You can argue whether it's better or not. It's still different. They tried, and it doesn't cost me a monthly fee. So that's kind of my point. I mean, for some games it works. Especially another point Darknewt made off stream a while back was, if you're only playing an MMO, it's worth it to pay the $15 a month. Otherwise, you're going to buy a new game all the time anyway. So in a sense,
definitely.
you're kind of saving money.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what the proper formula is for an MMO. Like, for example, just going back to WoW, because that's what I know a lot about.
Yeah.
They made it to where, if you wanted to be hardcore about it and play, 10 hours a day and play every day, it would benefit you. But if you only could be a casual player and play for an hour a day, only a couple days a week,
it's not worth it. Yeah.
But they started making it to where it would be worth it. It was easier to get that big raid gear. You didn't actually have to raid, or they did the raid finders where you could just get in an instant raid and do it. But what that did is that made the people who were elitists and were hardcore players kind of like, I don't know, like it just kind of was stupid. It was pointless. Like, why be a hardcore player when a casual would come on and get the same thing I did in 1 hour or less, because they catered towards the casual player. So I don't know if I were to make an MMO and I could do anything I want, I don't know what the proper formula for a game would be. I don't know if it should be completely different like Guild Wars did it, but I know it's definitely not, an exact WoW clone is definitely not the way to go.
I know for me, if I don't have that $14.99 for that month, then I can't play, and I gotta wait until I got the money so I can play again. At least with the free to play, even if I've spent money in the past, I can say, okay, well, I don't have enough money to spend, but I can still play. I don't have to pay any money to play. I can still play if I wanted to. So that's what I like about the free to play.
I got to be fair to WildStar. The one thing they are trying is they're offering. There's no prices on this yet, but they're offering something called cred, is what they're calling it. And
street cred.
It's just like an acronym for something, and they're offering it as a way to make money in the game and then spend that money on game time in the game, which is cool. I still feel like
kind of like Worm did.
Yeah, I still feel like you're going to put in so much time to get that cred that you're almost better off paying the monthly fee, because they're not going to just give that stuff away. But maybe if you're really good at the game and you have enough gold that month, you can purchase in game time. That's one thing they're doing that's different. I still think most people are going to end up paying the monthly fee though.
See, I like what a lot of these games are doing now is that they're free to play, but they also have a subscription program. Mm-hmm. Like I've seen a lot of games do like Star Wars, Terra, where if you're a free to play player, it feels like the same game, but there might be like limited characters, limited backspace, but it's not like you can't level all the way up or you can't play with other people. But then if you are a subscriber, you get those little benefits. And like on Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, I started playing that again yesterday, Old Republic. and I kind of subscribed. It's like $15 because it was just I'd played it before, and I could all the new content when it comes out. I think the way they do it is if there's a new big patch, they do free expansion. So they increased the level cap by 5 and added new raids and stuff like that, and new quest areas. And it was free as long as you were paying that $15 a month, or you could pay like $20 and just get it. But I don't know.
I played a
I
game
think
like
this is
that.
a
I
good
forgot what it
mix.
was, where if you paid the monthly fee, you got extended bags. There was like, tabs. It wasn't bags. It was like little tabs, and it opened up a whole tab for you. So you got a whole big old bag full of, that you can keep your stuff in. As a premium member, there was other things as well. Like once every week, it's like a payday, and they give you some health potions and things like that. But and I've done that before, where I've said, you know what, I'm just going to go ahead and pay the monthly fee because I want the extra bags and I want the whatever. But then I didn't have to keep with that program. I like that because now I could say, oh, I don't have it this month. I could still play still. See?
Yeah.
So that kind of, I can see that, but I can see how that could be abused as well if a company decides to make premium players, have better gear and better stuff than, say, a free-to-play player. I know EverQuest 2 did something where they split. They were going to have a free-to-play option and they were going to have a subscription option, and a lot of people I think complained, and so then they made the two servers separate. So free-to-play had their own server, and
That's how RuneScape's always done it.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so because it wasn't really fair. I mean, people were paying for a monthly fee, and then these free-to-play players come in and they get all the same stuff. So
Yeah. There's a couple people agreeing with you guys in chat right now. We have, I believe, sorry, part of your name's cut off. I think it says Bobby. I'm considered a casual player. Sometimes I won't have time for 2 weeks of work. I agree with Dreadlow. I've started a game of Villagers and Heroes because of that, and put off ESO for a little while. Jordan says, Vortek Darknewt brings up a good point about the game catering towards casual players more. RuneScape did the same thing multiple times and still does. Old school players don't play RuneScape 3 now as much as they play old school. Which, if you know anything about RuneScape, they changed the game so much against the players' will that the players were leaving in droves, and they're like, okay, fine, what if we bring back old school RuneScape, the way you liked it, and more people play that now than they play the new game.
yeah,
Because
exactly.
they wanted their old combat system back and all these things. So, and even still, there's, well, I don't know about old school. They might have changed this now, but with the RuneScape 3, there's your free-to-play servers, which have like way less than half the content than the pay-to-play servers do. But like Dreadlow was saying, if you don't have a couple bucks, but you still want to play, you can still work on your character in free-to-play world until you get that money again.
Yeah, kind of like you guys had like old school RuneScape. Now, when I was playing WoW, me and my friends used to always talk about, man, I wish they would just release a vanilla server, just a server that had the original expansion. And if they ever were to do that, I know so many people would play it because, yes, it was much more challenging than what WoW has become. Like every expansion, they would cater it towards more casual players and make the leveling faster and the raids easier, and it just to where a kid could get on, never played before, and could be just as successful as a hardcore player. Now, that was, some people liked it, some people it catered towards, but in the end, it turned off so many hardcore players, which with a game like that was very addicting. Most of the players were hardcore players. So, I don't know. I think catering to casual players kind of killed a lot of these online games. No offense to any casual players, but I don't know. Like I said, I don't know where a good middle ground is because it seems like you can't please both because it's gonna be unfair towards somebody.
Well, Cataclysm brought us flying in worlds where we couldn't fly before, and I thought that was the best thing with that expansion. But when they started doing other things, yeah, I'm with you. It's like, why are they doing this? They're making it, they're making it, like
now
childish,
with this newest
childish
expansion,
in a
you
way.
can start out at like level 90 when you buy the expansion. Like the new
Oh
level
yeah,
cap's
yeah,
level
yeah.
100.
I saw that.
The new
I
level
saw
cap's level
that.
100, and now if you buy the expansion, you get to skip everything else and go straight to 90. Which, I mean, I guess that's not
Crazy.
hurting anyone, but like, for example, for me, I spent I don't even know how long I wasted my life, but I leveled so many characters, getting to 90 myself, and then know that some fucking idiot, sorry, some idiot could get on there and just, get a level 90 because he
Instantly.
paid $50. It's
Yeah,
just stupid.
Instantly. Might as well play on those. What are those servers, that the private servers?
Yeah,
Where
Yeah, but
might
those
as well
private
just get on
servers
one of
are
those
never-
private servers.
those
They're
aren't
never-
good.
They
they're
boost
never-
you.
They're not. They're
They
just
boost you.
glitchy. They're just bad, and it's not the same because like you can't ever show off what you've accomplished. So even if you accomplish a lot on a private server, you can't be like tell your friends, hey, look, because it doesn't matter unless it's
Yeah.
a real server.
You can't like tweet it. Hey man, I just did this on World of Warcraft, and yeah.
Exactly. So I think just MMOs. I just think there's a future in MMOs that we haven't tapped into yet. There's a future version of an MMO. I got to keep an eye on ArcAge. I'll learn more about that and get back to you because ArcAge looks like it's gonna tap that vein that we've yet to tap in terms of like the next big MMO. Because it seems like it's doing a lot of different things, but every time I go to like watch a live stream, my internet starts crapping out, and I don't know like anything about it. I know there's like pirate ship battles and stuff, but it supposedly people are raving over it. Another thing I wanted to bring up about that though, and this kind of goes back to like the Kickstarter stuff. The only way you can play ArcAge right now is if you buy in for the alpha for $150.
Oh God.
That's their like.
Wow.
If you
I'm not
want to
rich
play
like
it
you.
right now, I'm not paying that. That's for me. A lot of games, are going on Kickstarter and they're trying to make money. And if you, depending on how much you pledge, you get X amount of rewards. And most of the time with video games, if you give a big amount of money, they're going to get you on the earliest version of the game. It's an option.
Yeah.
Or you can buy in with a lower amount and play the game naturally when it releases, like everyone else. There's all kinds of benefits, but it's like instead of a Kickstarter, they just did this and they're like dangling in front of people like, oh, you want to play our awesome game? Like $150, and eventually it won't be that much.
Yeah.
Either you can
I
pay us
know,
more
it's
for this
crazy.
underdeveloped game, or you can wait and pay less.
Yeah, it seems like a new model is starting to develop here. It used to be the other way around, where it was less to get
Well-
in, and then the price would go up before release.
Well, look
But
at it
now
this
they're
way.
starting out like, oh, you want to get in early? And then they tease you with it.
Well, look at it this way. Like with a lot of these hardcore WoW players, if you told some of them right now, you could pay $1,000 and play the new expansion that doesn't come out till next year right now, a lot of people would get it. And I'm not saying like me and you could afford it, but if anyone had the money that played it, they
Yeah.
would be getting
It's
it.
kind of
The
genius.
rich kid,
And it's cool that
the rich
people-
kid in the hills.
Yeah, it's cool that people are supporting them, and it's pretty ingenious in some ways. But it's also kind of like, oof. What if people don't pay that? What if people get wise to that and go, I'll just wait. There's other games I can play, like me. That's like it's a risk. I think it's a risk
See,
to ask for that much.
What I'm liking is I really like, I think the MMO thing is going to die out. I really do. There's just too
I
many
know.
of them. I think that what's happening now, I can see it already, is these limited servers where you got maybe 100 people on a server. And then what they need to do is start developing story content and quests like that within just a limited group of people, like 100 people on a server, and just have multiple servers. And you can get on a server with your friends or whatever. I could see that, because what's killing a lot of these MMOs is too many people on a server and too many things going on, and I don't know. I like the limited amount of people on a server at a time.
Well, like they do this, a lot of MMOs I noticed, they're trying to be, and they're doing kind of like what EA and everyone else does, all these big companies, is they're trying to be innovative to make people like it more, but in turn they're just ruining. And I don't know who are coming up with these ideas, if they have a monkey doing it, but who's ever coming up with these ideas is just stupid. Because all these big innovative ideas are like, yeah, people are going to love it, it's great. And then their sales go plummeting down. But like one more plug I want to make on the MMO thing is I have been playing Elder Scrolls Online. And I just want to say one thing about it as like a little quick one-sentence review. It is for the MMO players, not the Skyrim players. There's so many mistakes on that game. A lot of people say, oh my god, this is so stupid. You can't, pickpocket. You can't do this. And those are people coming from Skyrim and Oblivion and stuff. And I played both. Pretty much what I got to say about this game is it's an MMO. And it's not necessarily a WoW clone, but you could make it feel like that. that has the lore and the story of the Elder Scrolls. And I talk more about that game on my channel, which I'm sure someone will post in the chat, and it'll be on Noobs. But I talk all about Elder Scrolls on my channel.
Yeah, you have some good videos about that too. If people are playing and looking to make some extra money in the game and stuff, definitely go check out Darknewt on YouTube. Just search Darknewt. It's that easy.
It's that easy.
Yeah, I played it. I come from the Skyrim edge, the Skyrim side. When I played ESO during the beta, because I was part of the beta, I played it once or maybe twice. And there was several times you could play, usually for 3 or 4 days at a time, or sometimes even 2 days. And when I played it, I just couldn't get into it. It just felt too much like every other MMO out there. So yeah, you're right though. It would be fun for somebody who plays MMOs, but somebody who plays Skyrim, no, not for me anyway.
Interesting.
I like Skyrim.
It's funny. Bob in chat makes a really good point, and I remember thinking this to myself too. It used to be you get a beta game to help them develop it, and they almost should be paying you, so the game is free because you're helping them test it. And now we have to pay them to test their game, and then we got to report problems.
Yeah,
so that's a new marketing thing they've been doing. They do it on Steam too. It's that what's they call it, the early access beta.
Early access.
They did that with Rust. It's like, okay, well, the thing is that's kind of what Minecraft did, but they didn't call it that. It was early access beta. But they didn't say like, oh, but that's what it is. And they finally released it. I don't know how long after they were doing the beta and the alpha for that, and it worked. So everyone's doing it now. Hey, get in this game while it sucks and has glitches. Buy it now while it's cheaper, because they'll always say buy it for $20 now. It will be $50 when it comes out. They're like, oh, I better buy it now.
Yeah.
And a lot of us don't even stick with the game. I don't remember the last time I played Rust.
Yeah. You're right. I mean, it's crazy because that's the way you should do it, I think. If you're going to charge people to pay and test your game, you should make it cheaper first and more expensive later. Doing it the other way around seems to be working for them, but I think they would make more money in the long run if they made it affordable, because then I would be a little more inclined to be like, I'll test this game with them. That would be fun. And I'll pay for the alpha. And even if you want to charge me a little bit more during full release, if it's not obscene, maybe I'll still pay it.
Well, yeah, and you feel like when you're playing the game and there's all these bugs and stuff like that, you didn't fork over a whole lot of money to play the game. You knew it was almost unplayable because it was in alpha or whatever. But then when you pay like $150 for a game to get into the alpha, and it's buggy, glitchy, and everything else, and then finally you get kind of tired of it and you don't want to play it anymore, when it does release, you're like, I'm done with that game.
Yeah.
So you just spend $150 for nothing, kind of in a way. But I don't know.
I think kind of the world we're living in now, where they talk about recession and all that other stuff, where a lot of people don't have as much money as they used to. I really think cheaper games is where it's going to be at. Like, Minecraft, I don't know how long it sell, like what, $20 or $10. I feel like a game that sells for $10 is going to sell more than 6 times copies of these $60 games, because if you really want this game, you're more likely to buy it and even compulsive buy it just because it's $10. Like these Steam sales you see on the Steam sales.
Oh, yeah,
you see a game for $5 or $10, and I didn't care to play it before, but it's $5. I'll buy it. You know how many games are in my Steam library that I've never played that I got?
Never installed.
Same.
I think if EA started releasing these big games for like $10, $20, I know they would make so much more money.
Library, yeah.
I don't know why they sell it for $60. I remember being amazed when it first went up to 50 when I was a kid. Like I don't remember what they were before, but they were like 30 something, and then all of a sudden it's like 50, then 60. Like eventually we'll be playing like $100 for a new game, and less people are buying games.
Once the game is paid for itself, and they've gotten all their funds, all the developers have been paid, everything's been done and said. Now only the seller's making the money at this point. Sell it for $5. You know what I mean? Make some extra money on it. It's already been, dealt with.
Well, I wish we could go on, but we got to wrap up. But I think we have some good topics here. If you guys want to see my review on WildStar, it's going to be on the website tomorrow. So if you're listening to the audio version, it should already be there. And I want to thank everyone for coming this evening to the Everything Noob podcast. Be sure to check out Darknewt's channel, linked in the show notes on everythingnoob.com. And we got a lot more content coming to the website, too. So just stay tuned for that. stay very tuned.
Yeah, I'll see you guys later. All right.
All right.
Adios.
Thanks for coming, everybody. Catch you next time for another episode of Everything Noob.
Thanks for listening to the Everything Noob podcast. Be sure to visit everythingnoob.com for previous episodes, show notes, host bios, and blogs. And while you're there, feel free to write us with any questions, comments, or suggestions you may have. Don't forget to check out the links to our Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch TV channel as well. On behalf of the Noobs, see you next week, and happy gaming.